Hey everyone, and welcome to Am I a Rotten Egg? Today, we are diving into a story about that super tricky moment when a parent's help starts to feel a little too much like, well, parental control, especially when there's money involved. So let's just kick things off with a question for you to think about. Where is that line for you, between parental help and parental control? It's such a classic dilemma, and honestly, it is right at the heart of the story we're getting into today. Okay, so let's set the scene. Our story is all about an 18-year-old woman who's just taking her first really big step into the world of financial independence. So, how did we get from that exciting first step to a huge family conflict? Let's just walk through the timeline real quick. A few months ago, she turns 18, and her mom helps her set up a bank account, and her mom gets access. Seems fine, right? But then, recently, her mom starts checking her transactions and making comments. Last week, things really came to a head when her mom straight up confronted her about spending money with friends. And that brings us to now, where things are, yeah, they're really tense. Okay, so first, let's really dig into this from the daughter's side of things. Let's look at her case for independence. This quote right here really gets to the heart of how she's feeling. She said, "It's my money and I'm trying to learn how to manage it myself." This isn't just about what she's buying. It's about her wanting the space to figure things out, even if that means she messes up a few times. So why did she feel like she absolutely needed to do this? Well, a few big reasons. First off, she's legally an adult now. She's 18. Second, she felt like every dollar she spent was being put under a microscope and judged. And honestly, she just wanted the freedom to make her own financial mistakes. What probably started out as helpful tips from mom quickly started to feel a lot more like control. But of course, there are two sides to every story. So let's flip the coin and look at the case for guidance from her mother's perspective. And this quote pretty much captures the mom's whole stance. According to her daughter, her mom's argument was that she, quote, has a right to see what I'm doing with my money. I mean, that's a very, very firm position to take. So, what was her justification for feeling this way? Well, from her point of view, she's the one who helped set up the account, and her daughter still lives at home, which, that's a pretty big factor here. She truly believed she was stopping her daughter from wasting money, and maybe most importantly, she probably saw her access to the account as just part of the deal for helping in the first place. So what you end up with is this fundamental clash of values. For the daughter, this was all about privacy, autonomy, and just learning by doing. But for the mother, it was about transparency, guidance, and what she now sees as just broken trust. It's almost like they were speaking two completely different languages. And this brings us to the moment where things just boil over. An action is taken, and the reaction is swift, and it is emotional. The line is officially crossed. So here's exactly how it all went down. First, the daughter makes a decision and goes to the bank. Second, she removes her mother's access, but, and this is the key part, without giving her any warning. And then third, the mother finds out she's locked out, and that leads right to the accusation. She calls her daughter sneaky and tells her she's not ready to be independent. Ouch. This quote really just sums up the emotional damage here. The daughter says her mom's main point is, "I broke her trust." That is such a powerful statement, and it just shows you how broken their relationship feels right now. So, we've laid out both sides of the argument. Now it's your turn. It is time for you to be the judge. Let's start with the big one, right? Did she have a right to financial privacy at 18, even if she was still living under her parents' roof? Does living at home change the rules of being an adult? But then you've got to look at the other side. Did the mom, who was the one who helped set it all up, have a right to be upset that she was removed without even a conversation? Was what the daughter did a total betrayal of that initial act of help? And now, let's get personal. I want you to really put yourself in her shoes for a second. What would you have done? Would you have tried to have that really difficult, awkward conversation first? Or would you have just gone straight to the bank and decided to deal with the drama later? And that brings us to the final verdict. Based on everything you've just heard, is she the rotten egg here? We seriously want to know what you think. Tell us your story and what your verdict is down in the comments below.